Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of the D-Pad Discourse. This edition will be for the week that started on April 27th, 2014. Alright, well, news came out that Nintendo won't be having a E3 press conference, and this news isn't that surprising to me. They didn't have one last year and not going to have one this year. Pretty much there really isn't that much that they can show for the Wii U that hasn't been shown already. They've had multiple Nintendo Directs for these past few months showing off Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. Coming out for the Wii U. And those two games are pretty much the only big games coming out for the Wii U this year or during these next few months. So due to there not being that much they could show for the Wii U this year, E3 conference would be pretty much a waste of money, especially if they can't, like I said before, can't show any other games out of the games that we already know about. I personally feel that they should have an E3 conference whenever Zelda is ready to be shown, because that will be a really big announcement and big reveal at E3, and a lot of people would be really hyped for that. But we'll see what happens when it comes to that. I think we'll probably hear some more information about the new 3D Zelda that's coming out for the Wii U sometime next year. So it's going to be interesting to see if they'll keep that for an E3 announcement, the E3 conference announcement, or if they'll keep it for a Nintendo Direct. Overall, I think that this news that Nintendo is going to have an E3 conference is understandable, but yet at the same time still bad, because the Wii U is pretty irrelevant in the eyes of many gamers, and Nintendo is going to have a Nintendo Direct during the week of E3. But I feel that Nintendo Directs are pretty much preaching to the choir for the most part. I mean, there will be some people who don't own a Wii U that will watch the Nintendo Direct during E3, but a majority of people that will watch the Nintendo Direct and do watch the Nintendo Directs are pretty much people that already own a Wii U. So it's pretty much not going to do much to help the Wii U in any way. And I think that E3 conference that has at least some good stuff for the Wii U will be appealing to a lot of people who don't own a Wii U yet. But at the same time, it's gonna take a lot of things or changes to make the Wii U appealing to a lot of people, because right now it's facing a ton of problems. As I said before, the game library isn't that great. I mean, you have long period of multiple months without any big name games. You have the price, for most people will only view it as a secondary console next to their Xbox and or PlayStation, and the Wii U costs way too much for it to be a secondary console. It's the price of a primary console. And the third party issue, the issue with the system specs, therefore being not letting it get a lot of current gen games. It's facing a lot of problems, and it not having an E3 conference is just a small thing in comparison to all the other problems that the Wii U is facing. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Nintendo Direct does. I remember last year's was a mess. It was really choppy, laggy. So I'm hoping that it will be better this year, but we'll see. Alright, and also this past week, Madden NFL 15 was announced. We knew that a new Madden was coming, but it is good to see that this Madden seems to be made with these new consoles in mind. So instead of it being a port of the 360 and PS3 version with a improved resolution and some new features, this seems to be made with these new consoles in mind. And I'm guessing that the Xbox 360 and PS3 version will be pretty much scaled down for it to fit on those systems. Either that, or there'll just be a roster update of last year's version for those systems. They showed off the new player model, and it looks believable. I mean, it doesn't look like the trailers that we got in previous years that were pretty much fake. This looks, actually real. Looks like a player, during the instant replay when you zoom in on the player. You can see the details. It looks believable. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game actually looks during gameplay. A lot of the features that are being stated for Madden NFL 15 are defensive improvements as well as major improvements in broadcast presentation. Defensive improvements are always welcome, and broadcast improvements are definitely welcome. It's been years now since NFL 2K5, but NFL 2K5 still has a better presentation, I guess you say presentation system, than Madden does now, and it's been 10 years basically since that game released, so that's pretty sad. And if Madden NFL 15 doesn't surpass NFL 2K5's presentation on these new consoles, you know, consoles that are 2 gens ahead of the consoles that had NFL 2K5, and that would be really pitiful. So there definitely needs to be a really solid halftime show, pre-game show, halftime show, as well as post-game show, as well as, you know, really good camera angles, replay cuts, and all that other stuff for it to really finally have good presentation. And I hope that it happens this year, but you never know. We'll find out soon, I guess. Alright, and to end off this edition of the D-Pad Discourse, big news came for Call of Duty. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare will be coming out on November 4th for the current gen systems as well as last gen systems. The trailer has that typical Call of Duty movie-like action with a lot of explosions and bridges breaking off and stuff like that. But it actually looks pretty good, and it looks better than Call of Duty Ghost did, at least in the opinion of many people who've seen the trailer. Now, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare will be made with the new consoles in mind. It won't be a port of the 360 and PS3 versions. It will be made with the PS4 and Xbox One in mind, and the trailer was captured from the Xbox One version. So it's good to see that they're finally starting to get into this gen. I think a lot of people would have been happier to see the game only be made for the Xbox One and PS4, with the last gen consoles getting a like spin-off version of the game that, you know, isn't as that wouldn't be that different from Call of Duty Ghost. But it still seems like Call of Duty Advanced Warfare has a lot of interest, at least more interest than Call of Duty Ghost had. And it also seems as if, you know, people are willing to take a chance on this. I mean, there's been a lot of criticism for Call of Duty these past few years, and they've shown in terms of the sales of the series. The sales of the series has been down these past few years. I know Call of Duty Ghost didn't sell as well as Activision wanted it to. So it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how well this game does. I mean, it has a lot of hype so far, and a lot of people seem to be more interested in Advanced Warfare than they were in Call of Duty Ghost. So it should do well. I think it will do better than Ghost, but anything could happen, so we're going to have to find out. On top of this, news also came that Neversoft, the company who's known for making the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, will be sucked into Infinity Ward, who makes the Call of Duty games, and then both of the companies will make Call of Duty games. And news came out that a couple months back, or maybe a year or two back, that Neversoft would start making Call of Duty games. And many people thought that, okay, they're going to be making Call of Duty games, and Infinity Ward is going to be making Call of Duty games too. But I don't think that many people thought that Neversoft will be sucked into Infinity Ward, and then together they'll be a bigger Infinity Ward, and they'll be making Call of Duty games. So pretty much this is the end of Neversoft. Like I said, like I said before, they're known for making the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games, and I love those games. But they've, you know, haven't been really doing much else since that time. So I guess it's good to see people who work at Neversoft finally getting, you know, a bigger project to do. But at the same time, it's kind of sad to see them being sucked into Infinity Ward, especially if you're not interested in the Call of Duty franchise. So it's going to be interesting to see the next Call of Duty game from Infinity Ward, to see if whether or not Neversoft's impact will be shown in the game, or whether or not it will just feel like a typical Infinity Ward Call of Duty game. Alright, and that ends another edition of the D-Pad Discourse. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys will come back next week. Until then, Brad Davis saying goodbye, everybody.